Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I thank everyone for the attendance. The minutes and reflect the trustees and staff. Let's move on to item 3 and entertain a motion for the approval of the 6/6/2022 village board and file the 5/2 finance committee, the 5/9 board of public works, 5/10 public safety committee meeting minutes as presented.
Make the motion.
Second. Motion is second. As always, any comments, questions, clarifications on the minutes?
Yes, Lisa Harmon mentioned at the 6th about on minutes about insurance versus and the sewer backup, the claims.
According to our research, there's been no payouts made.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. We have at least one person wishing to be heard on their person's request to be heard.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As on behalf of the Grafton Lions, I would like to thank the village for your support of our Amy Chicken Homes. And I'd like to thank Public Works. You guys did a great job getting everything set up for us. We really appreciate it. I'd like to thank Brett. It was really nice to see you there to help us out and everything that we needed to have down there. Chief Caponera, Chief Bryce, were there. We really appreciate it. President Drunkwell, Amy, and other Lions members were there. We really appreciate what you did. It was a very successful event, and we couldn't have done it without you. And again, even Jesse, we understood we were
Oh, no worries.
anxious to have you there, but
Okay.
we understand. If I missed anybody, I'm very sorry, but thank you everybody for showing up and supporting our club. Just for everybody to know, we contribute about $27,000 a year to the local community, which goes back into the community through donations to a variety of charities. And we couldn't move without you. So thank you very much.
I'd also like to say Zero to Grafton was this last Saturday, went off quite well. Again, it only works with the great cooperation of police, fire, public works, park and rec. I don't know who else was all involved, but thanks again. It was a great day and a great success. So again, thank you. All right, that being said, let's move on to item 5. Any information has been distributed in normal fashion. Let's move on to item 6, resolutions, ordinance, action items. Item A is a resolution to approve the memorandum of understanding to establish the joint fire EMS working group.
Yes, before the village board this evening is a resolution that is actually before, will be going before each of the member community, participating community boards and or committees, being City of Cedarburg, Town of Cedarburg, Village of Grafton, City of Port Washington, and Village of Saukville. We as a group collectively have come together to discuss a joint effort to pursue an ARPA grant application through Ozaukee County for fire and EMS services staffing and to further research ways to improve delivery of fire and EMS services. This working group is a recommending body. It has no decision-making authority. That said, it would make recommendations as we work collectively to research ways to reduce call times, attract and retain staff, reduce costs, control costs, with the overarching goal and deliverable of a consolidation model. That said, during the course of last week and this week, each of those member communities will be bringing forward the same resolution and memorandum of understanding to their respective boards for consideration. Tonight happens to be our turn. The township of Cedarburg did adopt this MOU late last week. I believe Saukville has their consideration tomorrow evening, and so on. So that said, before the board this evening is a resolution which really looks to formalize that memorandum of understanding of these group of communities to look further and deeper into ways to address the fire and EMS staffing situation that is countywide, with the first step being an ARPA grant application with Ozaukee County.
I think everybody here is pretty committed to this. I don't think A lot of discussion as we did at this point. I'll entertain a motion and actually it's an offer motion in a second. I'll offer.
Motion.
Second. Offer motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
That resolution passes soundly. Item B is the motion to discontinue the Village of Grafton Small Business Relief Loan Program and reallocate the remaining funds back to the revolving loan fund program account.
Correct. This is a program that was established in the throes of the COVID-19 public health emergency, whereby just looking to creatively help out local businesses that were suffering the ill effects of that public health emergency. That said, the village board took action to create this program by reprogramming defederalized revolving loan fund dollars. Through this particular program, we were able to provide 4 different grants to local businesses and provide assistance through this program. That being said, over the course of the last 18 months, there's been no inquiries about this program. And that being said, village board action would need to be taken to discontinue this program. It is important to note that the village does maintain 3 other loan program opportunities for local businesses without this particular one we're discussing this evening. That being the revolving loan fund program, the self-commercial loan program, and the downtown business loan program. These are all low interest loan programs, which Ozaki Economic Development helps us out with, and local banking facilities participate as well. That being said, staff is bringing forward a requested action to discontinue this COVID-specific small business relief loan program.
Concerns, questions?
For businesses, how long do they have to repay it? I don't think they get or not.
The term, I believe, was a 5-year term. So the payments are underway.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second, all in favor? Motion passes. Item C is a motion to recommend village board approve the purchase of the Axon body worn camera for $98,921 and e-car video systems for $78,960 spread out over 60 months. Equal installments. Is that here? Is that the actual item? I know that there was some questions about the finance.
Yes, I will defer to Chief Caponera to discuss why this particular matter came directly to village board. That does have to deal with the timing of the grant and being able to commit because of supply chain issues, but also how that program is to be financed, and that the police department understands that this is a long-term commitment to make this changeover from the current system to a newer system. That said, I would defer to Chief.
I want to finish the motion. Is the payment dollar amounts, are those correct that are in the actual action item? Yeah, I think they are, but I just want to ask. Sure. We should say after 24,000, keep it clear, the 24,528 annual. Right. Use it that is. Right.
They're
Alright.
both are the same number.
Yeah, the final payment in 2027 will be 15,792. That's correct.
I think everybody's, we discussed them same 2 votes for both.
That's correct. Yeah, and there was, I think, when I spoke with trustee Antoine, there was same, I think y'all received the same quote. There should have been 2 different quotes, but,
One ended in 731, the other one ended in 738.
738, yes. One's for the body, one is for the
Invoice number.
and car, yes.
I read the minutes. It was pretty clear to me. I'll open it up to the board for any questions or concerns. Yes.
Chief, I think we're missing the proper process here of going to public safety to finance the village board.
Yes, sir.
And we had ample opportunity to get it to public safety because the quotes from June 6th, I think.
Yeah, and actually, these are updated quotes that I obtained from Axon. I have actually had previous quotes from Axon on different occasion that actually expired back in, I think, either early May or end of April. When you deal with a grant and a funding entity, sometimes they put deadlines on things that are beyond your control. This particular company or this particular grant funding stream that we went through is new. And as Tierney, who's on the line here, can attest, they've been very difficult to work with. They're very unorganized. Only because they've never really dealt in this realm before. Well, we got notification 2 weeks ago that the grant, we had to accept the grant by July 15th, otherwise they would turn the funds over to somebody else. Well, obviously, we had just had our public safety committee meeting, and I wasn't able to get it on that agenda. So that's the reason we have to come before the village board because our next public safety committee meeting is after the deadline of the date the grant, we have to accept the grant.
I thought you originally said the grant was June 17th.
I'm sorry?
I thought you originally said the grant was due June 17th, now you say it's June 30th.
No, the quotes were June 30th. The quotes expired June 30th.
I'll check my notes on that.
And could you get an extension of June 30th?
I don't think it's a quote, I think it's the accepting of the grant.
No, it's accepting of the grant. I have to tell them, yes, we're gonna take this grant by July 15th, otherwise we lose the funding. So that's the reason. And believe me, it's not that I didn't want to have to come straight to the board. I didn't even want to have to approach Jesse with it because I knew his feelings on doing that. But at the same time, I'm kind of caught in a quagmire.
$44,000 you'd be probably Beaver Hot Water. Who gave up 44 grand, the meeting. Yeah, because of what? Convenience the meeting.
It's a bad precedent. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a precedent. We've done many things straight.
Well, that doesn't make it right.
Well, I mean, it's not a precedent, I guess is what I'm saying.
It has happened before.
It has, and that's exactly why I stress with chief and other staff members where we have taken things out of order to explain those extenuating circumstances. We understand this is out of the ordinary. We are very upfront about that. And we do our best to explain why that is. This is not the normal. We understand that.
Yeah, so Chief, when we spoke about this today, you explained that we will get all the equipment up front and basically kind of plan a payment plan
That is correct.
over 5 years.
That's correct.
And we felt one of the advantages to that was as technology changes, you would be able to hopefully get updates,
Yeah, so as part of,
changes to your equipment.
that's correct. So as part of this, this program with Axon, every 2.5 years, we get a refresh on our cameras and batteries. They will send us brand new cameras, brand new batteries, to keep us current with the technology. Likewise, in the in-car systems, every 5 years, they will refresh our systems for us with new technology, and that's all under this program here. And that's at no cost to us.
Right, and you and I also talked about the fact that you requested 16 cameras.
That's,
There's 22 officers on the police department.
that's correct.
You didn't foresee having to use 22 at one time. And that the grant really is a certain amount per camera.
That's correct. The grant only covers $2,750 per camera for a maximum cost of $44,000 for what I could get, and that's what I was asking.
And was that part of your reasoning to ask for 16 cameras?
That's
That was
correct.
the most money you could get?
That's correct.
Okay. So, initially I felt like 16 was a lot. It's a lot of cameras. I don't see you out 16 officers at the same time. So we did have a discussion about that. I guess I'm all right with that, but again, I'm worried about 16 cameras.
Yeah, well, just for an example, for the Euro, we had 12 out there. I had 5 working the street and I had everybody else work at the event. So, and I only have 8 body cameras. So that would have been perfect to have everybody have one. So.
Is there warranties on the equipment?
Yeah, there are warranties on the equipment and that's part of this program as well. And we also have the extended warranty program built into this also. So beyond their 5-year warranty program, we have an extra year on the warranty as well. And I believe, Tierney, if that's correct, if you can hear me, if that Am I correct in the 5-year warranty?
Yep, Chief. So you'll have a full 5-year warranty on both the body worn cameras and the in-car system.
And it's been quite a while since we purchased the body
Yeah, we
cameras.
have not purchased any since 2014.
So you, when we talked to you, you said that the camera is gonna run a 5-year life. So this will continue, then after 2027, we'll have to buy more again.
That's correct. Now, we do have the option to refresh our quote with Axon for the refresh program, which is well, in the quote here is 16,000. So if we wanted to extend that for another 5 years, it would only cost us 16,000 to get brand new equipment, as opposed to another 95,000 or
On it, they're all 16
Correct.
cameras.
Yes.
60,000.
yes, that's correct.
Thank you for informing us of this. And one of the things I wanted just to double check here is that we're really not paying any finance costs on this. This is not a lease, this is a purchase, and it's basically spread out. The total purchase cost is spread out over combined with our financing charge.
Yes, sir, that's correct. There's no interest, no financing charges, no fees, nothing like that of the sort. This is Axon's way to be able to allow smaller agencies to afford their system, because it is such an expensive purchase, that it would be spread out so we could afford it and lessen the impact of a budget in 1 year.
Thank you.
So you had mentioned this weekend you needed 12.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Big deal. You had everybody work. So what are the additional 4 requests? That would be an event that we have almost everybody out.
Right, well, that didn't count me because I wasn't counting myself.
All right.
But yeah, it could be a major event that we would be able to need to have officers out on.
If nothing else, chief, would it provide redundancy if, for instance, a camera broke or had to be shipped in for repair?
Correct, yeah, we would have extras in the office if we needed them.
Okay.
Hey guys, if you wouldn't mind, I can also kind of chime in on the number of cameras. Typically, it's pretty standard to have everybody have their own camera, and that's for a couple of reasons. Number one is the evidence. So sharing cameras, right? If I had a camera during my shift and pass it off to a different officer, there's audit trails tied to all of that evidence. So it can get a little hairy when you're swapping out cameras. Another reason being the battery life is meant to last a full shift. But if you don't give that camera time to recharge and also offload the evidence, you're putting a ton of extra wear and tear on those cameras, and you're going to have to send them in, wait for the new ones. So it does become kind of a vicious cycle with sharing cameras.
Thank you.
Questions? I'd like to amend the action, just adding to the end of it, with the successful acceptance of the $44,000 grant. I'm good with that. So are we okay with that? Make that a caveat. Okay, I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion, a second, final comments. Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? That motion passes. I know it's free financing and, for the 5 years, but can you guys mind if we at least throw it on the ARPA list, for future discussion? I guess my concern is, pulling 25 grand out of the police department's capital for 5 years, I mean, it may or may not impact, but I think at least it should be a discussion point. So I'd be willing to ask. And then I'm saying do it and have it stuff. All right,
Thank you, I appreciate it.
okay. All right, let's move on to item D, report of finance, 2 items. Item 1 is the motion to adopt the paperless packet hardware policy.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, it's been discussed. Talked about equipment. Anybody have any further comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Item 2 is motion to approve the purchase of Microsoft Office 2021.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
And we are on 2012. 2013. 2013, okay. So it's time. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Move on, item E, Board of Public Works. Item 1 is motion to recommend the village board entering a contractual agreement with MSA Professional Services of Bearville to provide professional engineering services for the construction phases of the water and wastewater treatment. So I have a question. Multiple places it's WWTF and in multiple places it's WWTP. How would you like me to refer to it? Okay. For efficiency purposes, when it gets to here, those call it the same thing, because these are part of the official minutes and stuff like that. So,
Well, there is a difference, but,
what's the difference? That's good.
so I would use facility if we're talking about what particular building, piece of equipment or process in the plant. Higher plant, is generally referring to the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay, that's, I'm okay. It's just, it's never come through as two different acronyms.
But that's product itself, I thoroughly agree with that too.
All right, so we'll use WWTF power and control equipment consolidation on a time and material basis for a total cost not to exceed $170,000 be approved.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is second, comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion passes. I include the motion to recommend the village board approve the Tower One mount infrastructure coax cable and antenna installations by Piper Electric for $24,935 as part of the radio telemetry network upgrade project be approved.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion second. I have a no-brainer. If you're gonna do this, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes. I include the motion to recommend village board approve the proposal from municipal well and pump to provide rehab and repair service for materials for village well number 2 at a not to exceed $78,984 be approved. Second. Motion and a second, comments on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Motion to recommend the village board adoption, approve and adopt the resolution accepting the 2021 compliance maintenance annual report and submittal of the report electronically to the DNR as required. That is a resolution.
I'll make motion.
I'll second.
Offer motion second. The only comment I have is, are we gonna get the 4.0?
You're not, well, I'm working with DNR right now. They're giving me a 0 with 0 credit for our relationship with Sockville for our OIC. DNR's report format doesn't allow for this relationship, so I have been working with their IT people to try to give us credit. So without that, we have a 3.89.
Does that require an action plan?
It does require an action plan for that item, but we just had our inspection last week, and according to our engineer, he will overlook that, and understands the circumstance. So it will not actually require.
We have an action plan already in the works.
We do, we do.
It's just fortunate that, it's a question, so we must solve.
I'm
All right.
still working on it.
All right, good luck. All right, offer motion second. Final comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That resolution passes. Item 5 is a motion to recommend village board award project 22-04 micro surface village roads to Struck and Irving paving of the Forest, Wisconsin for a contract cost $67,738.28 be approved.
I'll offer.
That's the motion.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion in the second, comments on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 6, motion to recommend the village board award the MSF roof repair project to the Garland Company utilizing Arlington Roofing Solutions as a subcontractor for the contract cost $34,377 contingent upon staff review of warrant information be approved.
I move to approve.
Second. And we have a funding source, I believe now. Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
No,
Wait,
oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
contingent upon.
Yes.
You of the
Warranty, so I was
Oh,
able
didn't
to
I see
finally find, warranty information. We did accept the building in August of 2010. So we got a 10-year warranty on basically all of the building, whether it was roof or other portions. That would have expired in August of 2020. Probably about the time that the leaking went from a minor little problem to something And I did follow up with the architect as well. He was looking through the documentation, but haven't sent some.
Done. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 7 is a motion to recommend village board approve the updated Bridge Street Dam inspection operation and maintenance plan. And emergency action plan be approved.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Comments, questions on that item? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. Move on to item F, for the Public Safety Committee. I do believe, we can take them both together or separate as you wish. Entertain a motion for either or.
Together, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion second to approve the donation of an order track to the Milton Police Department, from Dick, so a nice thank you out to them. And motion to approve the donation of $10 to buy to the K9 Foundation be approved, and that was also the motion. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That. Move on to item 7. Department and officers. Jeff, you want to kick that off?
Certainly, just a couple of items for the board this evening. Park and Recreation is working with the Lions Club on planting trees at Lions Park. The locations of these plantings have been marked, and we are tentatively scheduled for a next week planting following a Diggers Hotline marking in the park. Update from the clerk's office that absentee ballots for the August partisan primary, this would be for state assembly, senate, and governor, will be delivered this week here to Village Hall. The clerk's office will then immediately begin mailing them out to the registered absentee voters. So just when the clerk's office was free from all things election, they're ramping right back up. So just a couple of updates with my limited work schedule as of late.
Any questions for Jesse or other staff? Yes, sir.
Two things. Could you let me know when you plant those trees planted, you stay over there? With lions. Well, say that again. Could you let me know when the lions are gonna plant the trees? So I can, but Jake is working with Dave on that to schedule that around Jake's schedule with the crew. When you get those in, I'm probably looking at Tuesday or Wednesday next week possibly. I'll be out of town, so I'll make sure the press is there. Yeah. Secondly, it's my concern that they're not having a park and rec meeting in June, your busiest month of the year. Yes, it is our busiest month of the year because we're programming, we're in facilities, we're doing things. It's not that I didn't want to have a meeting. It's Karen is so busy. She's at programs every night this week, every night last week, getting things up and running. We have the pool up and running. I'm running and doing things like that. It was also because I have some other personal things going on in my life with my family where I could not attend that meeting. And historically, when we look back, there's been many years, consecutive years where the committee has not met in the month.
And there are no pressing business items at this point either. So with consideration of that conversation with the chair of the committee, there was a consensus to move forward with the July meeting versus a June meeting.
So there's only one little nugget I picked out of there that I want to comment on. And that you referred to a date. I don't think the committee has a hard and fast rule of a specific day of the month. You know, if it's a consensus of the Park and Rec committee that says, hey, we can't make this date, can we do it a week later or whatever? I think that there's the freedom for that discussion.
And I agree with you on that, but with it being the week before, the week after, we got the bike race followed by 4th of July.
I'm just.
It just didn't fit into the
I
calendar.
get it. I'm
Sure.
just saying that's what I took out of that.
Yep.
You don't feel committed that if it doesn't work this date, that's right.
And I did consider and look at that options with my schedule and things like that, and I'm sorry, it didn't work.
And I think to Director Hoyer's credit as well, he actually brought a practice from Brown Deer here to Grafton, where there is a standing agenda item now on the Park and Rec Committee's meeting agenda for the committee to reach a consensus on the next scheduled meeting date, which they did reach for the July meeting. So I think that's a great practice moving forward. And to your point exactly, Mr. President, any date could be picked or discussed.
And
Yep.
Again, I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm saying what that's what I picked out of it.
So if there are agenda items, could there at least be emails that go out to the board, or can the department head not send emails to everybody either? Because
really want to be discussing.
But it's just an agenda item. It's not like you're making a decision. You're just talking about what you're gonna actually talk about at the meeting.
No, if you want to like.
That's all it is.
Email agenda items,
That's all.
yeah, as long as there's no.
Well, I requested agenda items from the entire board, because I sent them. And it went nowhere. Nobody even got it. Nobody got a request.
I'm not sure.
Wouldn't you think that?
You mean nobody replied back?
I don't think board members got a email from Meg that said, do you have anything for the agenda for June? Do you believe that happened? Yeah,
I saw your email that I was copied on and she chose not to do that, but it wasn't, well, I guess when I look at having a meeting, it's gotta have actionable items where you guys would have to have action on that sometimes. And again, it's a very busy time of year when you're running a park and recreation department business. When I'm dedicating more than 8 hours a day a lot to run these facilities for you and my staff, and it just didn't seem possible for us to get you information and have actionable stuff. I also offered at that meeting that I would send an update on 3 specific projects, which we've been ongoing and it's out of our control with the canoe launch, the scoreboard with the delivery date. And I'm sorry, the third one is not coming to mind right now. And I said I would update the committee with an email, an update on the projects in place of having that meeting.
So, we'll have to talk about, process, if we need to have a tweak to it, if it's, we don't have to have a tweak to it, obviously, we don't, but, you know, clearly that, there's been some concerns, and so when there's concerns, we'll address them, so, and for that.
Just a question from Amber. I haven't thought about this in a long time. And I haven't heard anything from our friend on Quincy, Mr. John Moore. Have you?
Actually just talked to him this afternoon.
Oh, wow.
You just
All right.
fixed it.
Yeah,
There's timing.
we have not gotten a path, built to Coit Road yet. He's been working on kind of a new, we had a plan over the winter, or maybe it was early spring. And he kind of came to give where he wanted a path through to Coit, and he's been doing some yard work, but we'll get out there in the next few weeks and get that.
Anything else?
Jesse, on behalf of the trustees, we just want to offer a condolence.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask Amber, ask and then thank, or thank and ask. I just see that some signs went up for the crosswalk, the new crosswalk, the Centennial. I'm a little concerned though, because they're really far from the crosswalk. I'm not sure if you saw those.
He did, I forget when I looked up the spec, it was at least 150 feet away up to, forget. It's almost 700 feet away was the standard of where you could put them. So we had to look at trees and the hill and trying to find a spot where we thought they were visible. We've not been out there to look at them, so
It doesn't, to me, they don't even match, like, you know, you see the crosswalk and it's a simple crosswalk, it doesn't say anything else, there's no parking. And I'm just comparing that to the crosswalk on Cedar Street on Falls Road, where the sign is right there at the crosswalk. So when somebody's either driving east or west, you see it instantly, you see the crosswalk right here. So when I compare the two, I just have some concerns. So I don't know, maybe check it out.
the history of why the signs are where they are in Cedar Street, but like I said, I believe the standard says they have to be at least 150 feet. Because, you know, if the car is moving, you want to be able to see it and process it, so that you're not right on top of the crosswalk when you see the sign and you don't have time to.
So maybe you can look at both of those.
Okay.
I went and looked at that also, Amber. I think those on Falls of Cedar are closer than 150 feet.
They got, they're right there. They've got to be, yeah. And I don't know the history on those, but I'll look at both of them.
All right, move forward, licenses. That time of the year, item 1 is a motion to approve the issues of the operator's license as presented.
I move to approve.
Second,
Motion a second, as well as individuals, locations of business, et cetera, et cetera. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Item D is a motion to approve the issuance of the renewals of the various establishments for the Class A and Class B malt beverage. Class A, Class B intoxicated liquor, Class C wine for the July 2022 to June 30th, 2023 licensing period, subject to the satisfaction of all inspections and outstanding financial obligations.
I'll make the motion. Or second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. I am assuming our people on the naughty list will be done.
So we got the updated one too.
Yeah.
I saw that one, right?
So I'm looking at, chief, they're all fired. I don't know, you probably don't have them memorized, but whoever's following up with them, we need to make sure that, we don't want to lose, we don't want these places to go dark. So,
They did not, respond to us after the fights.
right, so we'll do our above and beyond measure and we'll reach out on it twice more because it's getting close. And I don't want to get calls because websites are shut down. Or any of these. All right, item C is a motion to approve the tobacco products licenses for July 1st, 2022 through June 30th of 2023 license period as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Nope. And item D is a motion to approve the approval to issue coin machine amusement devices permits for the July 1st, 2022 through June 30th license, 2023 license period as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Opposed?
So I mean, can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put it out there and say that, you know, we recently had a plan commission decision made about the business and what they were going to bring in. And to look at the list of these coin operated amusement devices. They list a number of those devices, but a number of those devices are also the same type of machines that the other business wanted to bring in. So I feel personally that I cannot, we didn't authorize a business to come in, and it's not legal by the state of Wisconsin to have those machines. So that's why I'm going to.
So it specifically says, and this may be a question for Mike, it specifically says in the approval, it's the amusement device, not a gambling device.
Yeah, if I recall from the planning commission, the question is whether there's a remunerative payout
Well, there is,
with the device.
there is, I mean, you know,
The planning commission action, that applicants said they were going to do remuneration for that house. These applicants are saying they are.
I know what they're saying, but I've seen what happens
So there's a difference that
in the business.
then they need somebody needs to contact that gentleman right there, because then it's an enforcement issue. It's not a planning issue.
I realize,
So,
There was some new law just passed down to, regarding that, in the state Supreme Court, just put out something.
so maybe if you got something that you can share with.
Yeah, I can find it.
So if there's a complaint, you know, at least the way the village stand right now is anything that's illegal by the state of Wisconsin should be reported to the police department or as an enforcement issue. As far as the plan commission goes, you can't approve something that's illegal. That's what basically.
right, and my other concern is that, and I know, you know, coin machines can be jukeboxes, pinball,
The horse and rider.
pool tables, the horses and rider, correct?
That is true.
They
Yep.
can be those things, but then they can also be rolled into the other things, so. You know, I also noticed that, and I'm not the one to say what they are, except when I go into a business and I see them and I count them, I know that they're in there and they're.
Chief, if that was reported to you, you know, obviously you would take appropriate action for that. As a complaint based, you know.
Although, the Department of
Revenue,
Revenue also handles enforcement.
And I believe the police department and the fire department, they both go out to look at those machines to verify that they're safe. Is that right, Chief Price?
I don't know if they fall under the fire code at all, other than the way they're plugged in or
Okay.
something of that nature or the flag.
So I'm gonna go back to Mike, just for clarification for the motion purposes. When we say, should we add just this motion to say a Department of Revenue approved amusement devices, would that put us in the clear on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm cautious, just given our list, and I appreciate what the concern that's being raised. Do we know that these machines are in violation? I mean, sitting here tonight, do we know that?
Well, I took a little tour. I did not participate in any of those.
I
But
guess,
could certainly count the number of machines and compare them to what we have on a piece of paper and compare how many are allowable, which is really none for the state of Wisconsin.
I would say for future, I would encourage your staff to maybe in conjunction with the police department to do a more detailed investigation of the machines that are coming before us for approval. But I'm cautious tonight to decide tonight what machines are being approved and what machines aren't.
Oh, we don't have to. I'm just saying, should we put in the motion, approval to issue coin machines, and then where it says brand amusement devices, can we change that to legal amusement
Well,
devices?
I think that's written between the lines.
Yeah.
We're assuming they are all legal.
I know, but but the point of the motion is saying that we're only going to approve legally approved amusement devices. If they're not legally approved, then that's not.
I think that seems to make sense.
Yeah, I don't see any harm.
So the person who made the motion and the second agreed to that change?
I do.
Okay, so the change in this motion will be approved to issue coin machine legal amusement, legally approved amusement devices permits for the July 1st, 2022, July 30th, 2022 licensing period be presented. We have a motion and a second. Final questions on that? Yes.
Okay, so I'm still gonna vote no, because what I'm looking at is 12 coin machines under this business, and I know what you're saying, you've added legal, but it doesn't coincide with the number of machines listed. So under the first business, it says 12 coin machines. So I know 12 of them are not legal. So I'm just specifically me saying that's why I'm voting no, is because it doesn't match.
So I think we'll leave it as, and I think to Mike's point, we'll have to put some scrutiny into it, and if it, we're starting to get to a point where people are starting to play around the edges of the law, then we need to start backing down. It is what it is.
So the Supreme Court ruling says that, retailers that are operating video gambling machines at businesses that do not have Class B or Class B license allowing customers to drink alcohol beverages on the premises is a serious violation of the Wisconsin law. So due to this recent court ruling, any video gambling machines at businesses that do not meet those premise requirements should be immediately removed. So if they do not have a Class B license, or are not rated as a Class B premises, they cannot operate them, but otherwise they can.
And I think understanding that with the amended motion and second on the floor of being legally approved, it's inherently understood that legally approved speaks to the case law as well as state statutes, and that enforcement action, and then further that would be understanding the enforcement actions can be reported to the police department. However, the state of Wisconsin would be the primary enforcement agency as I understand it.
This is Mike. So the way that you read it, you said what is not, what is completely, but I mean, the state that it says that these bars, which they have, what's They have, are you saying that that's Supreme Court is now, or saying that that are?
That's great. Well, it came out, yeah, last week, actually. If it pleases the board, what I can do is research tomorrow, send around an email. We can certainly bring this back up at the next village board meeting for you all to re-vote on it with some understanding. Report on it now.
We can still get an update.
But I can still provide an update. I will
Sure.
definitely.
No, I'm not only an update, but you may have to think about if there's things that, I don't know that we would be overriding too much of the court system, but you know, maybe there's other controls that we can play with.
Can you read that again?
Yeah.
Please.
I think to understand the decision, I know there's a concern with the proliferation of these machines, you know, I think these cards and whatever. But I'd like to understand this
Because
decision.
they're not regulated. I think that's the difference between this type of machine and legalized gambling. So, you know, the tax information and have said, the person playing the game doesn't have a fair chance of winning.
Yes, generally speaking, adults are in places where there's class B licenses, so as opposed to kids.
Yeah, I guess my concern is, I don't want to take over, you know, proposals like this on. Right.
Yeah, so here's what it says. It says, this is an informational notice to alert you to recent court decision holding that video gambling machines, even those with a limited preview feature, violate Wisconsin law. The decision was initially made by the Wisconsin Court of Appeals. Because the Wisconsin Supreme Court declined to review the Court of Appeals decision, this decision is now final and the state must begin implementing the court's decision. To that end, we are writing today to alert you of this court decision and inform retailers that the operation of video gambling machines at a business that does not have a Class B or Class B license allowing customers to drink alcohol beverages on premise is a serious violation of Wisconsin law. Due to this recent court ruling, any video gambling machines at your business premises should be immediately removed. So they must have a Class B license and they must be for on-premise consumption of alcohol to be able to allow those machines in their building.
And then there's the fact that the village has an ordinance in their books about not allowing those types of gambling devices.
So we're gonna have to do some review.
Yeah, we'll need to do, I can work with the attorney's office and we can sit down and discuss the ordinance and how this ruling will impact us moving forward, and maybe we even clean up our ordinance a little bit better. Yeah, we'll do a case.
I guess I just have one comment. If we're talking about the legalities of it, wasn't Aaron Dorn part of the inspections from the Department of Revenue? Did she go around with the inspections?
I don't know who was involved with that. I know Sergeant Sutherland was involved with it. But we didn't look.
Because I know typically Aaron Dorn, the Department of Revenue, is part of the inspection, so if she had a problem, I think she would have said something.
Well, the inspection was prior to the court ruling.
Right.
You were-
Here, talking, not aside,
I think all of this being said, I think the village board is well within its purview to take this action with the amended wording. But then also with the understanding staff is coming back to you with an update as to what that court ruling means to us, what our current ordinances say, and what might be a good course of action moving forward.
Yeah, I just as a matter of order, did we not have a motion in second, and then we did have a vote, so the vote is there.
All right, so we didn't do a vote on the amended motion though, so with that being said, let's go ahead and at least let's get a vote out there. So this is our last opportunity before the end of the year as far as these businesses are concerned for licenses. So the approval to issue the pointing machine legally approved amusement devices permits for the July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2022 licensing period as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
And anybody against?
Opposed.
Opposed.
Pass 5-2. Motion passes. Let's move on to, I'll be very interested to hear more details on this one. For the bills, entertain the motion for the village approval of the village expenditures, $355,696.26 be approved.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, so all the back and forth regarding the bills, any final questions? Yes,
I can, Tracy, I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask this, because Jessica's not here. On page 16 of the second set, under Village Point Commons, and it says it's the developer incentive payment of 62,000. Is that the last payment?
No, there'll be one more payment
After
based
that?
on projection of their assessed value. So if we project it out that, more than likely in 2024, the debt service will be greater than what tax generated will be.
questions? Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion passes, item 10, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.